My name is Kirsten Sly. Who am I? I'm an artist, and it's kind of funny because it took me a while to get comfortable with saying that. I'm married. I've been married for 27 years now, and I have 4 children. I have 2 girls and 2 boys. My oldest is 26 years old, and my youngest is 17, and he's still in high school. Yeah, coming back to Orange Coast College wasn't my first time in college, but it was after an extended period of being at home with my kids and a homemaker. When I first went to college, I think I went the practical road, study something where I'll be able to get a job. I worked as a software engineer for several years before I got married, but then I did stay home for almost about 15 or 16 years before I started going back to school. So there was that big gap, and there was a little bit of nervousness and anxiety about coming back to school. So I was a little bit nervous going back to school because I hadn't been in school, and then also because I was an older student, I wasn't sure how I'd fit in because I was assuming that most students here were a lot younger than me. To a great surprise to me, I found a lot of the young students were very friendly and accepting, and I could relate pretty well with them. I mean, we were all, had the common interest of art. Since I was interested in illustration, I thought it'd be good to take the cartooning class. Trying to tell a story through an illustration is so much different than just painting a pretty picture. There's a lot more elements that go into it. In Cartooning 1, I worked on my own cartoon. It was an 8-page thing. It was called Mirrors. So Mirrors is a cartoon. It's a story about a girl who is not happy with her looks, and she wants to change them. And she's sitting at the mirror, combing her hair, and then she's like, I hate mirrors, and she throws the brush and breaks the mirror, and then a hand reaches out and grabs her and pulls her into another world where they're gonna fix her up. But it turns out to be like a horrific type of a nightmare where it's kind of like an industrial factory where they're just taking, they're replacing your body parts, they're ripping your face off, putting a new face on, they're just completely changing you into a whole new person, and then she realizes that she's gonna lose herself in the process, and that's kind of like the message is the loss of individuality if everyone's going for this limited standard of what's beautiful. The theme of beauty in our society, I think a lot of that has percolated through my life. I actually, when I was in 7th grade, I got kicked by a horse in my face, and I had to have a lot of reconstructive surgery, and I lost a lot of teeth. And I went through a period of my life, at an age when it's not the best time to go through that, where I call it my Frankenstein years, where I was pretty messed up. I had a lot of swelling. I had a lot of wires in my mouth holding my teeth in. I had, huge scars, and I had to have a lot of plastic surgeries to try to fix everything up. So I think that affected me a lot in terms of how I viewed myself, my own self-image, and also just struggling with my self-image. My grandmother was an artist, and she was really good, and she had her own business, and she did like design and display for all the major department stores, like for Broadway or Bullock's, and having my grandmother as an artist helped develop my eye, but I think in a way it greatly intimidated me because she was also a very critical person. My grandmother was not the grandma type, So she wasn't warm and cuddly and fuzzy type of person. But I know that she loves me in her own way. But she's always the first one to point out that, something's wrong with you. So, so I think having that in my life also made me wait a while before I felt ready to tackle art. I think there probably is a little bit of resentment in regards to that, just in the fact that, geez, I wish I started earlier. I wish somebody encouraged me to start earlier. I don't know, she's kind of competitive too, like I am the artist, nobody else. But I guess there's a little bit of resentment because I do wish I had started earlier. And also, I think especially when it's your family, you really want validation from that person or some sort of approval. So it can be, I think it's a little harder, I guess, to take criticism from someone that means that much to you in your life. And I don't know if that answers the question.
That's perfect.
Okay.